Hello, Smurphgang. Welcome back. We're here, and we're going to talk about motorcycles as usual because that's what this channel's about. And, well, I have a conundrum because I am a Kawasaki guy, and as you can see, I am riding a Kawasaki. Now, at a certain point in my life, I'm going to figure that I need to, well, upgrade. Because a Kawasaki Ninja 250 is, well, not a forever motorcycle. As much as I'd like to admit, or as much as I'd hate to admit it, I love this bike, but it's not a forever motorcycle, and I want something with a little more power, a little more punch, a little more curb appeal. Something that's gonna get the ladies, even though these are the epitome of male attractors. So, what does that say about me? Well, I have found myself, well, finding it that the new Gixxer 1000 is coming out, the 2026. And by the time that comes out, I may or may not be in a position to buy a new motorcycle. And, well, with that being said, the Gixxer 1000 is something that may or may not sway me. Now, with that being said, I should tell you this. I am not a Gixxer guy. I'm not a Gixxer bro, but I may or may not be becoming one. So, let's go ahead and take a ride on this 250 and let's talk about the new Gixxer 1000. Because, listen, as much as I hate to admit it, I'm not a Gixxer fan, I'm not a Gixxer bro, but I just might be becoming one. Or at least swaying a little that way. So, Squids, Smurphgang, whichever you identify as, let's go ahead and take a ride on the 250. Yes, just what I like to see. All right, let's boogie. You can do it. All right, acceleration. All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, in the title of this video, you're probably wondering what I think about the Gixxer 1000, the new Gixxer 1000. Because look, listen, first and foremost, the point one is why I was never a Gixxer bro is because, well, I thought they were ugly. That single headlight was just, it was never doing it for me. But I will have to admit, it's not like I thought they were like, well, they are cheap. They're the cheapest of the Japanese sports bikes, at least as far as what I've seen online. I've only ridden this Kawasaki, so I can't verify that myself. But at the same time, I would like to say that you get what you pay for, usually. But if this bike, with the winglets and the no base model that comes without the winglets and all that kind of stuff, I think this bike looks quite good. Is it the best looking of the Japanese sports bikes? Nope, not even by a little bit. I think it's just a C plus on looks, okay? It's just out of 10. Sorry, 7 out of 10 on looks. It doesn't look great, it doesn't look ugly, but it has swayed me to the point to where I can at least say I wouldn't hate to swing a leg over that motorcycle. Now, with that being said, Suzuki, you can still upgrade your stuff. We still need that TFT display, but you're keeping it cheap. And secondly, if this bike can stay around the $15,000 to $17,000 mark and be about around the same price as the Panigale V2, the base model, not the S, obviously, that is a bargain for a 1000cc sport bike. That is absolutely a bargain, and you'd be stupid not to consider it. With reason number 2 being that it has a fully updated suite of electronics, like, what are you asking for here? You get 1000 cc's, you get updated electronics, you get a revised engine so that, well, it's probably going to be a tuning beast. So, like this sport bike, and the revisions to the engines and, well, the same chassis and everything, it's to stay tried and true with the updates necessary, and it came in, I think, 3rd place in the debut race at its hour endurance race. My bike seems a little happier now, and compared to this 250, well, it's going to be a swift kick in the butt, like, as far as speed goes, so I can't imagine why I wouldn't consider upgrading if a ZX6R from 2026, which just was released as far as the new colorways updated, I think. I don't know for certain, but look, that's pretty freaking cool. But if I can get 1000 cc's brand new for another $3 to $5 grand, depending on the MSRP, which has not been released yet at the time of me recording this, look, shoot, say less, I'm gonna think twice about getting a 1000cc sport bike. Granted, the insurance is gonna be a buttload because it's one Gixxer, because insurance loves Gixxers, and 2, it's 1000ccs and a sport bike. So, yeah, ready to pay out the yin yang. I don't think this guy knows what he's doing, or he's never been on this road. Anyway, number 3. Hello, sir. Brother. Number 3. Seat height. I really have to consider seat height, because if I'm gonna get a 1000cc sport bike, I want to be not necessarily comfortable, but I want to be confident on it, okay? I want to be able to tiptoe without having to look like I'm one of them little tiny kids on his dad's 400, okay? I'm trying to be that. I'm trying to look like I belong on the bike at the very least. Maybe if I'm a little small for it, that's one thing, but drastically small, like sat on an R1 from, I want to say 23, just sat on it, right? And oh my God, was I embarrassed. Like, PC sport bikes are a little scary when it comes to that kind of stuff. And look, I just want to be able to sit on the freaking bike and not look like a stooge, and a little tiny stooge at that. So that's just me. But again, rounding back out to point number 4 being, if this is the price, right, okay. The price stays around that $15,000 to $18,000 mark. And look, with that being said, the only bike as far as price to performance that you're probably going to be able to compare with it is going to be the new CF Moto 750 SR, whatever they're calling it, their new 4-cylinder sport bike, which is probably going to be around the $10,000 mark. Like, that's going to be probably the most powerful and cheapest cylinder you can get on the market in America, and hands down that'll be the biggest bang for your buck if you're just looking for screaming 4-cylinder. For me, that's all I'm looking for. I have a project bike that's going to be plenty of screaming 4s, and I wouldn't mind getting the CF Moto just for a brand new bike, just to say, hey, I did it, and for content's sake and all that kind of stuff. Because look, I guarantee if I get one of those bikes, y'all people are going to watch it. I'd watch it. Content I'd watch for sure. And I just saw a sport bike go by. Oh my God, go! I definitely did not turn on my blinker, but it's fine. We just gotta keep riding. But look, ladies and gentlemen, if you like the winglets and the way it looks, please let me know in the comments, because I am genuinely curious. I would like to know whether or not you think that thing looks like a freaking new version of an alien, and just with new stickers on it. Because look, I'm still not completely sold on this single headlight kind of thing. I'm still not sold on that it's well, I don't really care that it's the weakest of the sport bikes, but it's the one with the farthest back technology. You can say that for certain. Okay, it's only just now got all these new IMUs and all these. But is it good enough to transfer to the streets and be a good motorcycle to ride, or is it just going to be a regular old Honda Civic motorcycle world like it always has been? Look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Alpha Smurf. If you've watched this far and you're a Gixxer bro, please tell me how to Gixxer, bro, because I just might be riding a Gixxer in the near future. Because I'm new to the Gixxer gang, and I just might be getting the 1,000. So, do me a favor, like, subscribe, stay tuned, because there's going to be plenty more videos coming. And guess what? The Honda CBR 600RR is getting closer and closer to being done. Now, take in the sunset, enjoy yourself. I'm Afro Smurf. Peace.